So I want to come on camera today. I wasn't feeling well Saturday night, Sunday, and I'm still not feeling well, but I want you to see me so that you can kind of compare. My face went down a little bit, and I wanted you to see that. I want to go over why I think they're making these admissions. As they're trying to get me into this irrational way of thinking, I think, it's something strange to me that I could be 51 and start thinking irrationally when I wasn't thinking irrationally before. I think if I had a pattern of irrational thinking, and they don't like when I talk about the past because it starts to, their way of looking at this doesn't make sense, but my way does. Had I been an irrational person, this wouldn't have happened. There's something that they admitted, and I'm going to put my glasses back on. There's something that they admitted that, and I can pull back now because I'm dressed for this. Something they admitted that once I start thinking, why did they admit that makes me want to talk about it? They admitted that their victims are targeted based on personalities and based on, they said something along the lines of how they can get you, pretty much. So they said I was targeted the wrong way, and my personality assessment was based on other people's opinions of me. And what they tend to do is look at what I'm doing and say, you're doing it because of this, or you're doing it because of that, as though not necessarily what they think, the reason they think I'm doing it, but the reason they want me to think that I'm doing it. Like if I pull this back like this, you're doing it because maybe you think, they would say, they would say something like this. You're doing that because maybe you think you look better like that, or maybe you feel better about yourself today than you don't about yourself other days. Whereas I've already told you the truth, which is that I can pull back because I'm dressed for this. I've told you I wasn't wearing a bra on Monday, or this, that, or the other. They got very offended. And that goes back to why I think they're offended by my heterosexuality. Now, that is in no way, um, what's the word when, to take homosexuality, something away from homosexuality, but they're offended by my heterosexuality. And they said something, they admitted something that was so strange. They said because that would give me an advantage. And my point becomes this: if my sexuality gives me an advantage, then what way do they think I'm using my sexuality? For people who know me, they know I don't use my sexuality to give me an advantage. So they said, well, I talked to my female coworkers about dating and things like that. And they said it seemed like I was highly sexual. But they also know that those same female coworkers have never seen me use my sexuality to give me an advantage. So to me, why they're trying to make me feel that way is because had I not been heterosexual, then when they were bashing me and calling me a lesbian, it would have bothered me. Do you know what I mean? So I know this is kind of weird stuff, but when I'm dealing with this, I'm kind of dealing with weird stuff. If I'm homosexual and they bash me, like in the book where it says, you don't like boys, the Northbury paper book, then I would have been offended by it. But because I'm clearly heterosexual, it doesn't offend me. They said years ago, the way this system worked, here's another one of their crazy scenarios about how it worked, is that they would say the word lesbian. So they were trying to figure out, have I ever heard the word lesbian? I mean, how would I know it's direct to me? The way this works is this: I know these are directed to me because they're commenting on me. They're saying my name. And like, if I'm going like this, they're like, she's going like this. So they want to know if I ever heard someone say lesbian. How would I know that? I mean, if you don't say Shamika's a lesbian, how would I know you're just directing the word lesbian towards me? But that goes to show you, now going back to what I'm saying, why I think they're anti-heterosexual is because I am heterosexual. Calling me a lesbian doesn't offend me. I've said this in other videos. So there's not there's not an issue. But because I'm heterosexual, all of a sudden I'm using my sexuality against them. So that what that means is that had I been a lesbian, I would be non-threatening. And that is so big because they even talked about how they make a lot of black women seem like we're lesbians. And I'm now realizing, based on the racism that they've said before, that they feel that there is power in being heterosexual. And I'm putting it together with all of this other craziness about white men and rich men and so on, meaning there would be power in being heterosexual. Whereas I would be less powerful had I been a lesbian. But then you put that together with the other point that this is how they use things against you. They use guilt, they use shame, they use, what's the other thing that they use? I think they said something along the lines of blackmail. I don't see how you can blackmail someone who's a lesbian, because why would it matter? But I think shame and guilt would, make you ashamed of your sexuality. So when I'm putting their admissions together, to me it's just a bunch of crazy irrational thinking that I'm supposed to start thinking, so that they feel like if they tell me this, I'll start to say,